What's good, y'all? I've got some huge buffs for both Magneton and Magnezone. These guys are now pseudo-legendaries. There are several dozen new Pokemon which I call semi-pseudo-legendaries, as well as full-blown pseudo-legendaries. Not just 3-stage Pokemon. In fact, there are several 2-stage 600 base stats little Pokemon, and even single stage 575 based that little Pokemon. And you can check out all those in the other videos, or most importantly, you can check those out on the Google Sheet in the description below. You can look at all the really cool Pokemon buffs and changes in this hack. They're all very elaborate and in-depth. It's a lot more in-depth than your typical ROM hack, and you can check out all of the buffs and changes there. Most importantly, while you're at it, first of all, you can bookmark the Google Sheet if it interests you, and this type of ROM hack is like, interesting. You can also feel free to subscribe to the channel. I would appreciate that as well. But what I'm trying to get at here is if you look at the move sheet in the description below, you will see that there are 600 plus move buffs and changes, all right? That's really, really important. There are so many move reworks and changes in this hack. Pretty much changed every single move, and there are 130 plus new ones as well. So do give those a look. They're all really important to understand how the Pokemon will function now. It will not be, if you're looking on screen, you can just see how massive it is. But it is very easy to navigate. There is all types of categories that you can jump to, healing moves, recoil moves, close combat type moves, Draco Meteor type moves, priority moves, etc., etc. There's so many of them. I don't even have time to get into them all. That being said, though, Magnezone and Magneton, like I said, they are now pseudo-legendaries, so they just have a nice little stat boost. The power levels in this ROM hack are pretty damn crazy, so it's not like this is anything. I mean, it's just a nice, bulky, strong attacker. They do have actual speed stats now as well, or at least Magnezone does. Not that his speed was super bad before, but this 75 base speed works really well with moves like Agility, Choice Scarf, items like Choice Scarf, and then also moves like Electro Ball, which will give you +1 speed now. And then at level 65, you get Autotomize, which is reworked to essentially be like Shell Smash, but for speed. So it drops your defenses by 1, and then it gives you +5 speed. I mostly try to give that to like robotic-esque Pokemon, or Pokemon that I can see like changing their configuration of their body to like move faster. I know technically all types of Pokemon get Autotomized, but that's just how I envision the move, so that's how I'm making it. And that's really good on both Magneton and Magnezone. So I feel like a lot of, especially hardcore Nuzlockers, might be thinking Magneton is still better with the Violite. I wouldn't say so. I would say it depends on what you need for that certain situation, because Magneton has good enough stats to hold a regular item too. Like you can run Specs Magneton for certain fights, you can run Choice Scarf Magneton for certain fights, you can run, all types of berry, Aqua Berry for certain fights, whatever you need to do. But Magnezone especially can run like Assault Vest, Parabolic Charge, for example. You do have a significantly higher special attack stat now as well. They did lose Analytic because I think the ability Galvanize fits them a lot better, and I think with this new stat boost, they don't need the power from Analytic anymore. Magnet Pull is useless in game. Anybody who is like unfamiliar with like the strategy for in-game like ROM hacks and stuff, like Magnet Pull is useless. Maybe in a ROM hack where you can actually change the AI to actually switch out, it's good, but even then I would say it'd rather have a regular ability. But in this case, AI can't switch out unless they're using moves like Parting Shot, Volt Switch, or U-Turn, all three of which are TMs and widely distributed in this hack. Magnus only gets Volt Switch because he's like a robot guy. I don't see him using Parting Shot personally. But he does have solid coverage now. I think Magnezone still fits to have limited coverage, but it does have moves like Dazzling Gleam, Signal Beam, and Psychic. Not Bug Buzz. I don't want to comment about Bug Buzz. It's 15 base power stronger than Signal Beam, but it's a level up move. So why would you ever keep that? Like, if it's a TM, sure, go ahead. I guess I'll give it to them. But like, it's a level up move. You would just teach Signal Beam whenever you need that bug coverage, to hit a specific, hit a grass type or something. You also have Weather Ball, which makes Magnezone work really well under all types of weather. Weather is a lot more common in this hack. The Icy Rock type items are buffed, so you can get Ice, Rock, Fire, or Water coverage in that regard, so that's really good for Magnezone as well. For certain boss fights, if you do have an ally to set up that weather, it's very easy now with Parting Shot and all these other moves. You do have priority moves, so Swift with Galvanize is a 66 base power plus 2 priority move, and then you have Magnetic Burst, which is a 50 base power plus 1 priority move, and then you have Shockwave, which is essentially Swift but weaker, but of course you don't have to run Galvanize, so you can run, and also Swift. Shockwave is reteachable, while Swift is not. So Swift is mostly just for Melee Island. After that, I would probably just run Shockwave because it's reteachable, so you don't have to worry about keeping Swift at all times. You have other great utility moves. Parabolic Charge is beautiful on them because of how bulky they are, because of that great typing with Levitate. It makes him only have 1 weakness. Sorry, 2 fire and fighting, 2 times weaknesses. So that's really good. It removes your ground weakness. Not that having 4 times weakness is anything too detrimental in a hack like this, but it's nice to have that ability. And the beautiful thing about having abilities like Levitate in this hack is you can just swap it on when you need it. So not every boss fight you're going to need Levitate. Even if there's a ground type move on the opponent's team, that doesn't necessarily mean that you'll need Levitate. You might have another ground type move switch in, or some other strategy for the fight that doesn't involve Levitate on your Magneton or Magnezone. Not to mention that Galvanized Power Boost works great with all types of new moves. So Hyper Beam being one of the best ones, and Tri Attack. Hyper Beam is a 160 base power move that drops your special attack step by 2. Tons of new moves have that same effect. For example, Zap Cannon does the same thing, but Zap Cannon is only 150 base power. I tried to make Hyper Beam Giga Impact like super good because like they're really cool moves in my opinion. And they are late game TMs. You know, you only get them once you reach Pony Island. But those are really fun, so you can definitely take advantage of Giga Impact and Hyper Beam. 192 base power with Galvanize, very strong. And then of course you have Zap Cannon for earlier in the game. Honestly, by the time you get Zap Cannon, you'll be almost at Pony Island anyways. But Explosion is special, and that is overall 375 base power because it's 250 base power, but it always crits. So with Galvanize, that's 450 base power, coming off of 145 base special attack. If you're not doing a Nuzlocke, you can run Quick Claw Explosion or Quick Claw Detonate. Quick Claw is a single-use item that will always trigger. You can also run choice card for certain fights if you just want to switch it in on a resisted attack, of which you resist many as a steel type, and you can switch in and just get a big damage button off. Although honestly, I would just run Tri Attack. I wouldn't say anything. I mean, Explosion's useless in Nuzlocke. It's just there for flavor. Same with Detonate. Detonate is 250 base power, fire type, special. Explosion, again, both are special, and it'll always burn, so that's a pretty cool option as well. Metal Burst, good for totems and stuff. You have the bulk to pull it off. It's now negative priority, so your speed set doesn't matter. You have reliable recovery, excuse me, in the form of Recharge and Fortify. Recharge is usually by 130 HP, and it gives you the charged up effect, while Fortify is just a flat 50% recovery move. Those are very good because you can't use healing items in this game. Parabolic Charge, very good. I would keep Parabolic Charge the whole game on your Magnezone. I would not ever delete that. It's a really good move on them, because especially in a Hardcore Nuzlocke. If you're not doing a Nuzlocke, you know, use whatever you want. But in a Hardcore Nuzlocke, having that recovery move on such a bulky, strong Pokemon is really good. Not that other electric moves are bad. For example, you can still run Galvanize with Parabolic Charge and just run Tri Attack, which is very powerful now. Tri Attack with Galvanize is 127 base power overall. It's 35 base power per hit, and it hits 3 times, so that's 127 overall with Galvanize boost. Commotion is also a good option. Commotion is 102 base power overall, and that always confuses the opponent. With Galvanize, of course, it's 102 base power. Normally it's 85, so those are all really good options with Galvanize. It's got a solid move pool. Not anything too crazy. Analytic would be a little bit better if Magnezone was slower, but I like Galvanize flavor-wise, and I also think that he doesn't need Analytic anymore with this big 145 base special attack. So yeah, overall, great abilities for him. Very simple buffs and changes. I think they fit the pseudo vibe. For example, we already had robotic pseudos like Metagross, and I just kind of wanted, like, for example, Magneton is still a great Pokemon. Like, you can still argue it's better. I would say it really just depends on the situation, because Magnezone can hold an item that, for example, like AV, Magnezone is bulkier, especially than than a Violet Magneton, significantly bulkier. So that's a really good option for special tanks if you want to take some special hits. Power Gem, I didn't mention, by the way, that's another good special coverage move, especially for Magnezone, because you can hit like certain types that resist your stab, especially like fire. Not that it doesn't resist electric, but you get my point. Power Gem, very good option, especially for Guzma or something. You might want to teach it because you learn it right in time for when you're going to be fighting the first Guzma fight. Overall, though, yeah, the priority moves are a big help. Electro Ball giving you speed. You can use that with Autotomize. That's super fun. Z Lock On, it gives you +3 special attack, so you can use that in conjunction with priority moves or Autotomize, because he does have the bulk to take a lot of common priority attacks like First Impression. He has the bulk and the typing for it, so you can actually get some sweeps going with Magnezone with Autotomize and Electro Ball, or Agility and Electro Ball, because Electro Ball will give you +1 of speed additionally each time you click it. You can use that with Parabolic Charge and Levitate, and you can just go to town. It's got so many fun options. Yeah, that's really about it. Thank you so much for listening. Hopefully you enjoyed this type of video, this style of buffs and change. If you do, again, I'd recommend you check out that Google Sheet in the description. These guys are very simple. It's nothing too crazy. It's just very, it's mostly just stat boosts and 2 nice abilities and some nice moves. The moves are actually pretty important, but there's a lot of more in-depth reworks for a lot of Pokemon in this hack, so I do recommend you give them all a look on the Google Sheet or on my channel. Thank you for listening this far into the video. I appreciate that. I'll be back for more coming up. Peace, y'all.